everyone, it's Raleigh, and today I'm going to be sharing my 2026 planners. And I'm going to begin with the oldest system I've used and one of my favorites, Traveler's Company. I'm just a huge fan. I started using them, I think maybe 10 years ago. I used them for several years because I was working out of an office and I traveled a lot. So I just liked the idea of having little notebooks, and I started doing little weekly setups for myself. And I've just always liked the idea that you can buy different little notebooks, and they're, $8 to $15 a piece. So if you don't use them fully, you don't feel too bad. You can try things out. And this was all that I used for many years, which is why the cover is looking a little bit worn, but I love it. Every mark has a story. It's been all over for work and for vacations, and there's a lot of memories on this cover. So I thought I'd begin by showing you the notebooks that I used with it last year. So first I had a monthly calendar, and actually I think here's my last 2 years of monthly calendars, but clearly I didn't use it a lot. I found that I did have my cousin I was using, and then I had my phone when I was away from home. So although I love setting them up, it just wasn't very functional. So I have decided not to do that this year. This is one of my favorites. It's the overview, which I'm going to continue to use this year. Basically pages for each month, just a common place to jot things down, as well as another place for kind of ongoing lists. And this is the one that I usually have with me on the go. It's a little notes one. And sometimes it's specific lists of things. Sometimes it's if I have a little time waiting for an appointment, I can make plans for the following week or for vacation. I used 2 of these last year, and this is my favorite format for it. The first one I used last year was just lined, but this is the weekly free, the daily free traveler's notebook, and it's got 2 months worth. And I don't use it that way, but I like it because it has page numbers. I use the dates as page numbers. And the final one I had last year was just an extra little sticker book. So these were the ones I had. Again, the notes one was usually the only one I would take out with me, sometimes the overview. But this year I've decided to streamline it a bit, to start anyway. Again, the great thing about this system is that you can always add things in or take them away. This is the little insert that I love, this pouch. Just enough to put a couple markers and a pen, and then slip a couple things in the back, little notes or lists. And this year, I love those stickers. So this year, I'm combining the overview and notes. So the front overview is similar to other years, where I just have for each month and a place to jot stuff down. Again, I like using this daily free because I can use it as like a table of contents in the beginning. And the second half is just sort of more open. So like I said, if an appointment, I'll open it up. I might plan out a vacation week or something I want to do. I am going to use this regular line notes just for thoughts. Sometimes I need to think through things, and getting them down on paper is helpful. And the final notebook, and the bit of a twist this year, is I got one for watercolor that has watercolor paper because I want to get back into doing watercolor this year. Part of what I want to do with my planners is inject a little bit more creativity. So these are the ones that I have. I will probably need to end up doing 2, again, of the overview, but that's okay. So that is my Traveler's Company set up for this year. But again, the great thing about them is the flexibility. If I want to add something, and I can. I have a couple very specific things that I want to work on. One is getting my home in order, so I might add another notebook for that. We'll see. And here we are on to my main planner, which is my Hobonichi Cousin, which I've been using for many years. That's last year's, 2024, and 2023, the first year I used it. And I found this is ideal for me. I like the setup. I don't find it overwhelming. I find it useful and enjoyable. So I found something that works, and I'm sticking with it. So yeah, this is this year's. The only stickers I use in my Cousin are from Coffee Monster Co., and that's because my mind can't handle a lot of different stickers or companies to buy from. So I stick with one, and I find that Coffee Monster Co. works the best. And here I'm just showing you, I will put a page of swatches in there. Here's the monthly. So they have great monthly kits. That's the other thing about Coffee Monster Co. So I bought a whole bunch of their kind of coordinated kits, and I've used them kind of sometimes in the ways they're meant to be used, sometimes not. So we got the calendars in front. I use this section, and I like the way I've used it the last couple of years, where I pick like 3 things to track. So I'm gonna continue, there's Ren. I'm gonna continue to do that this year. I just haven't quite picked out what I'm gonna start with. But I do like it. I like the at a glance, and I find it's a good way for me to use those sections. And then we've got our monthlies. So I just, again, use the monthly kits from Coffee Monster Co. I haven't put a lot in yet. It's one of my projects for this first full week in January. The last few weeks have been somewhat challenging. So I didn't get as far set up as I'd hoped to as we were heading into January, but that's okay. Here's a little mini setup I've started for the first few days of January. So the weekly pages are by far my favorites, and later I'll kind of show you what they tend to look like for me. And then of course we've got our daily pages. The daily pages, my kind of theme this year with my planners, because I like them fundamentally, I want more consistency and a kind of enhancement maybe, and more creativity. Something I want to carry over from last year is in these kind of extra pages at the back, I want to put like a little summary at the end of each month, which I had a lot I started last year, but then I kind of fell away towards the last half. So I want to get back to that. And I do know I want to use the My 100, hopefully to read 100 books, but otherwise I'm not quite sure. And I will give a little peek as well at 2025, just to give you a sense of how I set things up. Now, there's a lot of incredible planners and incredible companies that do amazing designs, and I really love some of them. But for me, with working and the way my life is, I find this is the best for me. I like, you know, kind of, again, with Coffee Monster Co., the mix of the design and the functional stickers, I don't find it overwhelming. It's enjoyable to me. There's enough variety. So the weeklies are my favorites. The dailies, I kind of a little bit off and on, but yeah, the weeklies I really enjoy doing. So I want to do a little more in the dailies. I think I want to lean more creative as well. Maybe some more sketches and doodles. I found it kind of became, sometimes it was a to-do list, sometimes it was what happened that day, which is okay. But I think I want to kind of, again, with some of these sections, I want to sort of enhance how I use them a little bit, or try a few different things out. So we'll see. And yeah, I didn't really use the back sections. There's the little overviews. But you can see I kind of fell away. Last year was a bit unusual. So I am hoping to, part of 2026 is sort of, you know, re-embracing this, because when I do use it and plan in it, and I find it's relaxing and it helps me. So yeah, that's what I hope to do. So I have my cousin and I have my traveler's company that I use to complement it. And I also want to share, I do use a couple notebooks. There's an amazing company called KnockKnock stuff, and I use this little mouse pad for them, which unfortunately they don't have anymore. But I'm going to use this one up. And so this is what I have beside me when I'm working, because I work from home. Another great thing I love from KnockKnock is they have these lists. And let's see if I can find one here. I also have probably, and I'm not kidding, like 8 different other notebooks from them. They're just a really fun company. They have some really cool things. So, and as you can probably tell, I'm someone who, when I find something I like and that works, so whether it's, you know, Hobonichi or Traveler's Company or Coffee Monster Co. or KnockKnock, I tend to stick with them, because again, for my mind, I need to focus on a few things, and it just makes it easier for me. And so I've got my little watercolors that I'll be using, hopefully in both Traveler's Company, and I want to try them out in the Hobonichi. And then here's some of the markers that I use. So the Energel Clenna, and then Tombow, kind of the brush markers, the dual markers, and I'm adding a micron mostly to accent on watercolor. So yeah, this is sort of my pieces that I use for my planning, and I'm hopeful for a really good year. I know that these systems and that these pieces work for me. I just want to make them work, you know, a little bit more, and hopefully, you know, revisit and use them as a place to get some inspiration too. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I'm hoping to share a lot more with you this year. Thank you for watching.